All right, guys, I'm going to help you with Robot Studio and getting it started. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to download two files to your desktop. Grab your laptop and also grab your iPad to watch this video. So you're going to go to the file transfer folder in Schoology, and you're going to download first these two files, the zip file and the T-Gripper 2023 file. Once those are downloaded, then you're going to want to go to your File Explorer, which is one of these folders down here, and you're going to want to open your Downloads folder. In there, you're going to find what you've just downloaded. So I'm going to do that just to show you. Like if I download this file, I click it, it's going to go right to my Downloads folder, and then I'll see it in there. However, it's going to be zipped. See the little zipper? So I have to right-click on it, and I have to extract all. So do that. Right-click, extract all. Okay? When you're done with that, life is good. Now you're going to open up Robot Studio. I know yours is 2024, that's fine. Click it. Once you open it, it's going to immediately tell you that you need to install, or would you like to install, Robotware. Say yes. The two versions of Robotware that you have to install, and this is going to take a while, are going to be the one that shows up as Robotware, and that's from Omnicore. Click Add. This is going to take several minutes, so you might want to pause the video. And when it's done, it's going to ask you to install the Flex Pendant. Say no. So you're probably going to pause the video. After that, then you're going to install from IRC5 the version 6.15, and then you're going to add that. So go ahead and install both the 7.15, click Add. It's going to do a percentage for downloading, and then it's going to install, and then do 6.15, add it. It's going to download, and then it's going to install, and when it asks you about the Flex Pendant, say no, and then come back to the video. Welcome back. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Home, and you should see a gray screen, nothing's there. You're going to click on File, and you're going to make a new project. But before we do that, let's make a folder that we can save the project to. So go to the Explorer, the little file, and you're going to go to the desktop, and you're going to right-click in the space, and you're going to go New, Folder, and you're going to name it CIM Robot Projects. Once you have the CIM Robot Projects folder, then you're going to go down to where it says Location, right here, under Name. Project Name, leave it as 11. Then you're going to go to Locations, and you're going to click on this, and then you're going to select that folder in your desktop that's called CIM Projects, and you're going to select that folder. This is very important that everything looks like mine. Where it says create new, we're not going to create a new project. We're going to create from a backup. And we have to select where that backup folder is. So we're going to click the ... and we're going to select a backup folder. We're going to go to our downloads, and we're going to double click on the 1200 folder, and we're going to click it again and select it. Click Create. All right. Now this might take a little bit of time. There might be some errors, not errors, but some questions about whether or not it was created in a previous version. I don't think you should have that error in your current station, but let's just give it a minute to load. Let me see where my video is at right now. It's great. All right, so you'll see that the virtual controller is connecting. Now, this is giving us a few different options for the type of robot. We're going to pick the third option right here. 5 kilogram, 0.9 meter reach. And we're going to click OK. So now all of a sudden you see the robot arm, the big 1200 sitting there, but we don't have a gripper on there. So we're going to bring the gripper in. So you're going to go to Import Library. Make sure you're on the Home menu, Import Library. Browse for library. And you're going to go to your Downloads folder. And you're going to bring in the T-Gripper 2023. Click Open. All right. Now that gripper is probably going to be hanging out here in the middle of nowhere. In order to attach it to the robot, left-click, hold, and drag and drop it onto the IRB 1200. And when it asks you to update it, say yes. And now it's attached. All right, so a little bit about moving things around and jogging the robot. First of all, zooming. To zoom, roll your middle mouse button in and out, just like Fusion. To rotate, what you're going to do is you're going to hold the Control and the Shift button at the same time. And then you're going to hold your left mouse button. A little bit different than Fusion. Hold the Control and the Shift, and then hold your left mouse button. To pan, hold the Control button and hold your left mouse button. Rolling in, rolling out, orbiting with my left mouse button and Control and Shift, and then just my Control key and my left mouse button for panning. All right. Now let's move the robot by jogging it. Still on the Home tab, if you look at freehand, you're going to see there's some buttons that you can click, grab by selecting different joints, and now you can rotate. So, jog joint is a way for me to individually grab each joint and move it to a different position. If I click on rotate, I can reorientate. If I want to control each individual joint, I can click on each joint one at a time. Just like that. So take a little bit of time to play around with these different tools for freehand moving the robot, as well as some zooming in and out. Take a few minutes and play with that. Pause the video and then come back. Now we're going to bring in our components from Fusion. So I have a couple of these made, one of them actually, which is the cone. It's very difficult to go between Fusion and Robot Studio because the zooming buttons are slightly different. So what we want to do in Fusion is every single component that you've made in here, in order to bring it into Robot Studio, it has to be an SAT file, kind of like the test. So what we're going to do is we're going to, each component, right-click, export. Change it from a Fusion file to an SAT file. And make sure this button that says export to my computer is lit. And now, I'm going to call this cone. Oop, my caps lock's on. Cone. Export. Now if I go back to Robot Studio, what I can do is I can go to my Modeling tab, import geometry, browse for geometry, and if I go to my Downloads folder, I should find that. Cone. Open. And sure enough, it's very hard to see because it's inside the robot. I'll notice in my browser a cone, and I see a cone sitting over there. Now, it's time to move it around a little bit. If I highlight the cone, I'm going to notice that the Modify window over here is lit. What I can do is I can offset that position. But remember, this has to be highlighted. Modify, offset, and if I type in distances in the X, Y, and Z, looking at this arrow right here, for instance, if I type in 200 in the X, you're going to see a little shadow of that about to move, 200. And if I click apply, I've just moved that 200 millimeters in the X direction. If I apply that again, it'll move another 200. If I close it, it's going to stay in that location. If I highlight it again, and I rotate, because now I want to set it upright, and I think about it, there's an X-axis, there's a Y-axis. I'm going to rotate that around the X-axis. I'm going to put in 90 degrees. The problem is if I click apply, it's going to rotate it around the world's axis, which is way out here. So watch, apply. So there you go. Now it's sitting upright. Close. So you can move things around by highlighting them, offsetting them. Say I want to move it in the Y direction by 50 millimeters. Apply, 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 apply. So you can be very precise in placing objects around on the table. If you want to duplicate them, you can right-click, go to Modify, Duplicate. Let's say I wanted 5 of these. Number of copies. Maybe I want them every 75 millimeters, and I want, you can see the shadows starting to appear. I want 3 of them. Duplicate. Now I have 4 total, 3 duplicates. Play around with that. I think that's about all I want to try to accomplish in your first day with Robot Studio. I mean, you can also, once you have those kind of placed, if you want to try and do some jog joints, get that robot to kind of be positioned up and over each of those cones. But you can see it's a lot easier. There's even easier ways than what I'm showing you here. But I'm just trying to give you all the different possible ways that you can move this robot around and program positions. So that's your introduction to Robot Studio.